Hi, good day, everybody. There's been a lot of sad events just recently, lots of crime, but I don't want to talk about that just yet again. There is a social problem, and it relates to the class, the society. That formed from 1906 to 1932. Out of that became Tory politics into conservatism. But before that, there wasn't any other movement in politics. None at all. The Industrial Revolution moved everybody from the farming fields, from the working of around services around church. This isn't to nail anything upon the church. Sexism has been around for a very, very long time, and Matilda, the Queen of England, was sent off into Europe with a vase of cocaine that came from the Egyptian knights in 1104. She cured the treatment for smallpox, but some casualties still prevailed. It wasn't the exact cure for everything around smallpox. So the arguing world, full of kings in monarchies, saw the Queen and decided that they had to make a union with her so she wasn't so powerful. They wanted to give her, their queen, a king. On this, she became the Empress of Europe. They changed the title and sent in somebody else as a king. And they invaded England 40 years before she was supposed to have been a queen and brought in a male Frenchman. Put that to aside, the Panagiotis king, Richard III, abdicating practically. We have a British, an English king again after this, after Edward the Confessor. William the Conqueror, Edward the Confessor, and the Panagiotis king lost his throne. We're back with Henry VIII's and seventh line. Politics. Henry VIII had so many attempts at finding a suitor for his kingdom to give him an heir. Very much difficult. There is some proof that he was attacked by the Roman Catholic Church. Now, they're not our enemy, and they never have been. There's another part of the church that's gone all the way across Europe, and that is the Holy Trinity. There is a bit of information and all these sorts of things in some films that you can see, and they're based on factual information. But now I'm talking about the political state of today. Because I want you to take a look at the Labour Party and ask yourself, how can they exist when all that there was at the turn of the century was unions, the public working for the Tories. The Tories are just landowners, and it's taxation on revenue yield going centrally back to London to pay for monies and food, etc. We are being swindled by foreign invasion all the time because we have a diverse country, and it is a multinational country. It's been like that for 300, 400 years. There's so many different races here, and they've been here a long time. I I'm not going to say that there isn't a Labour Party. There is one, but its roots are not old at all. They're very young. Going back to the dissolutions of the monastery, Henry VIII got rid of the monasteries and made the Church of England. And the Queen, his daughter, succession, Elizabeth I, she was asked by the public, she was so popular of fighting off the Spanish invasions that the public wanted to see her. So they formed a parliament. The church formed a parliament to receive the public. Now, the public, what do they do for a living? In the Domesday Book, they said they were bakers, thatchers, farmers, all sorts of things, including the fisheries. That's my family name, by the way, Bastable's Fisheries. And that's 1064 in the Domesday Book. The Queen Elizabeth, quite a few years later, she's on the throne, and the church has said successfully, you fought off the Spanish, and you are now on the throne, running the country. The father had died, and the church bring in to this parliament, which is the Houses of Parliament, the first building. That's the rectagonal building with the apex roof. They brought them in and they asked her questions, what they wanted from her. So she received the public, and they are technically unions. They're not the Labour Party, they're unions. They're public people. There was no political parties formed. Now the Commons, this was the people. And there the unions went to the Commons, part of the political parties of, no political parties. It's just the Houses of Commons, common people. And the unions formed later, a lot later. So there isn't anybody else, but the church came in and said, the people are getting too much and we're not having enough money to run our little parishes. So the churches attached to the farms, which is the landowners, they were given land rates by the state, which is Queen Elizabeth I. So the church said, we want our own representation. So they formed the Houses of Lords. And there they are. The classless society. It's my paper that I did in my exams for Oxford and Cambridge when I was 15. I wasn't quite 16 at the time. I put that in a long time ago, 1982 or something like that. And so anyway, what I'm saying is, if all we had was the classless society and the church were represented in the Houses of Lords, and the Commons were represented by the Industrial Revolution forming unions, because the workers on the fields no longer had manual labour, and they couldn't go to the landowners to get their pay because there wasn't any jobs, because the Industrial Revolution made threshing machines and combine harvesters happened so many years later, a lot later. The combine harvester didn't exist. It was a threshing machine, steamroller, plough cutter, all at the turn of the Industrial Revolution, which is 1900. So fascism formed across Europe in 1906. From 1906 to 1926, when Adolf Hitler formed the socialism movement. So, can I ask you the question, who are the Labour Party? Because all we had before was the Tory Party up until 1932. and they turned into the Conservative Party. Just think about that. Don't panic. Some people haven't got the facts right. They don't know history. And they're being overrun by Central Europe, full of fascism. Over what, though? Not over anything. So many different things in trade. I think we've done a really good thing coming out of Europe. It's going to make us a lot healthier.